Okay. Today is our 1850th day of continuous webinar. Thank you all the participants for joining with us. Before beginning the session, we will have a silent prayer. Good evening and welcome everyone for today's webinar. Today is our 1850th day of continuous webinar. Today's our speaker is Dr. Manish Azad Singh. Roles are evolving. Today, he's always moderating IFPH sessions. Today, he is taking the role of a speaker, and he's very good speaker, good communicator, and good leader. And he's regularly taking classes for repertory, and he's running a clinic. Published many articles and worked as a data collector in KAB. And many have to say about him. He is the assistant physician in Divine Homeopathic Clinic Varanasi and published many articles. I am welcoming Dr. Azad for today's session. I think the host is, now I became the host. There is no need of any introduction about Dr. Manish. You are welcome, Doctor. Please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Firstly, I would like to say thank you to the IFPH team for inviting me again. And I have been here before, obviously, and today I have come with the topic of anxiety. I'll start by sharing my screen. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So today's my topic is digital age anxiety, understanding our tech-driven mental health crisis. So today's topic is all about that, how the digital age is affecting our mental health, how this technology-driven society of today's 2025 is affecting all of us, and how is it important to understand the efficacy of homeopathy in cases like these. Okay. So by starting, I would firstly start with data only. In 2025, nearly half of US teens recognize social media's harmful impact on mental health. The World Economic Forum calls us the anxious generation, and the data backs it up. So as we all would be knowing that the Gen Zs who are of today's, and we are like millennials, so the Gen Zs are anxious generation. So in 2025, there was a study which took place in US, and it recognized that half of the US teens are anxious generation. They recognized that social media is harmful for all of them, and the World Economic Forum called them anxious generation, and that is why this generation is called as an anxious generation. So anxiety is that common that in the whole population, 50% are being told that they are as an anxious generation. If we talk about India, digital anxieties are a homegrown horror. Okay, a 36% mild, 18% moderate internet addiction rate, hitting students hardest at 20 to 40%. So 36% is in a mild range, but students are more oftenly addicted towards social media, around 20 to 40%. The techno stress ravages 80% of our workforce. Cyberchondria haunts health searches in our post-COVID nation, and will dissect 5 anxieties. So these data is all about 5 kind of anxieties. So before talking to them, let's again stick to the anxieties only, statistics only. So 48% of US teens recognize social media harms mental health, up from just 32% in 2022. So lastly, in 2022, this data was of about 32%, and at present it is about 48%. Rise in youth emotional distress globally. So around 30% rise has been seen in youth emotional distress. And the poll respondents' rare anxiety at 3+ level is around 62%. So 62% people are there who rate their anxiety at 3+ level. The maximum score is of 5, and 62% rate that 3+ level of anxiety, they feel like that. These aren't just numbers, they represent millions of young people navigating unprecedented digital challenges. So these are the digital challenges which the youth of today's generation are continuously facing. So since we are talking about anxieties, let's talk about what are the basic anxieties and which is usually related to social media or which is usually related to technology. So the first one which we can clearly see is FOMO. FOMO is fear of missing out. Fear of missing out is when people feel that they're missing on something important. The key impact of FOMO is social comparison. The key factor is loneliness. The people who suffer from FOMO, they usually feel that they are lonely. They compare themselves, their Instagram post or their WhatsApp post or their Facebook post with someone else, and they always feel that they are missing out on something. 70% of social media users feel FOMO. Okay. Then there is nomophobia. Nomophobia is panic attacks without phone access. So at any times when you cannot access your phone or when you are not near your phones, you are feeling panic. The sense of anxiousness that why is my phone discharged? Or when can I touch my phone again? When can I binge watch Netflix again? So the panic without that phone access is nomophobia. 70 to 80% of today's young adults face this. Then there is cyberchondria. Cyberchondria is very common in homeopathy clinics. Being homeopaths, we have regularly seen these kinds of patients. This is health anxiety from online searches. So people of hair fall search that what kind of disease I'm suffering from. They know that their disease is named as alopecia areata. And suddenly they learn that, oh my God, this is an autoimmune disease. Then they learn that autoimmune disease do not get treated by their own. They are incurable. And this is a genetic predisposition. And then anxiety runs in. Now, talking about medicines, we have many medicines like this that they have anxiety of health, anxiety of disease, anxiety of impending infectious diseases. We have these kinds of rubrics and medicines like Calcarea Carb, Nux Vomica comes on top of it. So 25% of the students are cyberchondric in nature. Then the fourth one is techno stress. What is techno stress? Techno stress is digital overload and burnout. Okay. So the people who are suffering from techno stress, they'll say that there is a digital overload and burnout due to that they are too much using the social media or too much using of technology in today's time, and that is why that is causing the burnout. 77% of workers who are from IT industry or who are from technology industry, they say that they are techno stress, they are suffering from techno stress anxiety. The last is social media anxiety. Social media anxiety is addiction-like behavior, getting addicted to social media or technology related to social media. 210 million people globally are somewhat anxious or addicted to social media. Each of them represents a unique challenge requiring targeted solutions, combining lifestyle changes, psychological support, and holistic approaches. So for each of these five, we will discuss particularly what kind of lifestyle changes are required, what kind of psychological supports are required, what kind of homeopathic medicines are required. And today I'm playing with data and statistics. So I'll continuously talk about data, that how many diseases like these have been published in some magazine that they have treated these kinds of diseases and they have treated it well, okay, by homeopathy. So the first would be nomophobia. If we talk about nomophobia, the terror of disconnection, the basic feeling is the terror of disconnection. Nomophobia, dread of losing phone access, strikes when your lifeline snaps, plunging into panic. In India, 2025, it grips 70 to 80% of youth, with 35% severe cases among university students. This is the data as per NIMHANS. So NIMHANS says that in India, 35% severe cases are amongst university students of nomophobia, and 70 to 80% of youth are suffering from nomophobia. What is nomophobia? Let's repeat that. Nomophobia is a dread of losing your phone access, and this strikes your life. The line which is written here is battery dies, signal drops, and the panic sets up in. So nomophobia is that the people are fearful that their battery will die or their phone will get dead and they'll not be able to access it. 50% yearly spike in tech hubs like Bangalore. So in the cities like Bangalore, which are tech hubs in India, the 15% spikes every year can be seen in the diseases like nomophobia. Women are 1.5x more affected. So 1.5 times more affected in women. The causes are communication blackouts. The first cause is communication blackout. 40% of the first cause is communication blackout. Then the second is WhatsApp isolation. What here is written is lost connections. So we can understand with both that there can be an isolation or lost connection felt. 30% in the cases, this can be felt. Then signal loss, 20%, fueled by 85% smartphone penetration. So 20% no internet connections, 30% lost connections, and 40% inability to communicate causes nomophobia. What are the symptoms? What can we see as symptoms if we talk about nomophobia? So the first symptom, if we talk about physical symptoms, then heart pounding. Obviously, palpitations is a very common symptom when we talk about anxiety. So the first is that sweaty palms, then nausea could be there. Psychologically, if we talk about then panic, obviously panic attacks will be there, helplessness feeling, and irritability, disorientation. Also, the most important anxiety part is you won't want to be connected with your family. You would always want that you get absorbed in your phone only. So when your phone battery dies, you start feeling cranky, you start feeling irritable, more anger, and that is how nomophobia sets in. If we talk about behavioral changes, then compulsive pocket grabs, every silent minute feels like a lifetime of regret. So this is kind of a nature. Let's imagine this. Even we are here. How many participants? We are 18 participants. So let's talk about amongst us. We keep our phone in our pockets, okay? And whenever we keep our phone on charge, and if you are moving for 5 or 10 minutes, instinctively, if someone phones ring and we check our pocket, that it must be our phone. It must be our phone ringing. So this is the kind of behavioral tendency which we are all getting into. And this is very common these days. Now, solutions. What are the solutions in this kind of problems? The first is lifestyle. Lifestyle is important factor, and that is why we are discussing. The first is digital detox cap. Non-essential use at 2 hours per day. So you have to give 2 hours per day at least for non-using of. This can be 1 hour on waking up and 1 hour before sleeping. That can be your digital detox. Why? Because if you give 1 hour before after waking up for the morning, then that will help your dopamine to get stabilized. And 1 hour before sleeping, that will help your sleep patterns to get better in some ways. So that is why it is important that we can give that 2 hours. The second would be diet. Diet is very important. Let's talk about that. Omega-3s. Omega-3s are important, and we can take that from mackerel or flaxseed. It is important. Why omega-3s are important? Because they cause drop in anxiety. 20% of anxiety drops when we take omega-3s in our daily lifestyle or daily diet. So 20% of anxieties is dropping. So that is also a medicine. That is why we talk about that food is medicine. So if we are giving any kind of supplement in which there is presence of omega-3, then that will help. Then we have to limit caffeine. Obviously, caffeine can cause problems. So we have to limit caffeine. And we have to try to boost serotonin. There is a study took place in AIMS. AIMS is in India, obviously. So this study took place in AIMS where if we take turmeric, ginger, this can be named as ginger shot. We can see the recipe on YouTube easily. So if we take ginger shot at night before sleeping, it can boost 15% of serotonin. And this study has been verified by AIMS. AIMS is a very known institute here. Then we talk about regimen. If we talk about regimen, 10 minutes of pranayam, anulom vilom and pranayam, the breathing habits, this causes drops in heart rate, 10 BPM, 220 per minute midday. So if we talk about breathing exercises, then pranayam is very
Dr.
effective.
Manish,
Yes, ma'am.
Now the slide here is nomophobia slide itself. Are you moving the slides?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I have moved it just it. Yeah. So I was talking about breathing exercises. Breathing exercises are important because they'll help you control your heart rate. Then 20-minute midday walk. It is important. We have to walk daily to keep our metabolism in control. And that is important if we are talking about any kind of anxiety or phobias. Phone free, I already told you about that. One hour before sleeping, you have to switch off your phone. The last would be counseling. CBT is always important if we talk about this. If we talk about counseling, CBT is always important because CBT is a technique which helps you come out of any kind of fear, which helps you come out of any kind of anxiety, and it shows success in 70% of cases. So CBT is important. Next, let's talk about the medicines. Just a second. So I have made a different presentation for medicine. So let's talk about medicines now. Just nomophobia. So the digital anxiety epidemic, 40% of symptom relief shown by a research taken place by CCRH. So the Central Council for Research in Homeopathy says that 40% of symptomatic relief has been seen using LM potencies, so showing efficacy of homeopathy in digital anxiety. Okay. 28 to 35% anxiety reduction. This has been published by IJRS in 2025. Review confirms effectiveness in treating nervous exhaustion. 10% addiction risk has been conventional sedative carry dependency risk. And unlike homeopathy's gentle approach, 10% addiction risk has been improved. So if we talk about nomophobia, it is a modern anxiety disorder, obviously characterized by fear of being without mobile phone connectivity or access. Obviously, we have discussed that. So let's directly come to the medicine. Again, this is not my perception towards the disease. This is obviously what we have taken out of research papers. So CCRS trials show 60% exhaustion relief in 2 weeks if we give Cali for 6x. So Cali for 6s is important as per CCRS trial. Why? Because it helps in tech-fried brains, mental fog, headaches from endless notifications. So Califos is an important remedy if we talk about it. Obviously, whenever we talk about anything related to technology, anything related to anxiety, related to digital age, we talk about Nux vomica. Always it is there. Because any kind of anxiety, if we talk about related to technology or over stress, so obviously Nux vomica comes in play. So Nux vomica 30C, overdriven urbanities, restless and irritable from 24/7 alerts. So if a person is suffering from irritability, if a person is suffering from restlessness and overdriven urbanities, then Nux vomica 30C comes into play. The result is 40% reduction in compulsive checking behavior. So if a person is suffering from habit of compulsively checking his phone continuously, so it shows 40% reduction in that. The last medicine, obviously, whenever we talk about anxiety, the third and last medicine for nomophobia is argentum nitricum. Whenever we talk about anxieties and anxieties with anticipation that I won't be able to access my phone, if I'll miss something, that would be problematic. So that fear, that anticipation causing you to causing some symptoms inside your body, obviously argentum nitricum will come into play. So panic with diarrhea from offline breath. 50% relief if combined with CBT. So research says that if you combine this with CBT, then you will get 50% relief in your cases. So if you get 100 patients of anxiety, in 50% of the cases, if you use argentum nitricum, you will get it. Okay, so swiftly coming back to the next disease. The next is FOMO. FOMO is fear of missing out, okay? The social phantom basically. The comparison trap. Venomous whispers of everyone thriving but me. So basically, this kind of people are suffering from anxiety from competition. They see that they feel that everyone around them are thriving, everyone around them are doing great, and they are the only people who are suffering from some kind of poverty or some kind of what can we say, forsaken feeling or some kind of problems in their life. And each and everyone around them, they are doing great. They are just thriving in their life. So this kind of comparison problem, this kind of comparison traps, that comes under FOMO. In India, 2025, 56% of emerging adults, that is age group between 18 to 25, 56% of emerging adults, 10 to 15% of new cases yearly among 200 million plus Gen Z on Insta and TikTok. So NIMHANS, yeah. So NIMHANS says that 56% of emerging adults are suffering from HOMO. 10 to 15% of new cases are coming every year. So we already have 56% and 10% are increasing every year. 10% increase of the last number we have seen in every year. What are the symptoms? What are the symptoms which we can see? The first is emotional, envious. So obviously when you are comparing yourself with someone else, the basic feelings will always be envious, jealousy, competitive, anxiety, ambition increased. So these kinds of rubrics will come into play. Envy, loneliness, because when you will see that someone else is doing something good and you are comparing yourself, you will have these kinds of rubrics as forsaken feeling. I don't have anyone, I'm always alone, I feel loneliness. So that kind of rubrics come into play then. Then despairing tears over others' perfect lives. So you feel that others have perfect lives and you have despairing tears toward. What behavioral patterns would change? You will feel that since others are doing good, you are doing not that good. So you'll procrastinate. The rubric would be postponing everything to the next day. And then what you will do? You will do endless scrolling till 3 a.m., till 4 a.m. You don't want to do anything else. You just want to scroll endless. You will overcommit to events. You will try to do something overly. Okay, so this would be like performance pressure and you will try to do something extra. You will try to behave something extra. You will try to deliver something extra to your boss. So if others are working for 6 hours, you will try to work for 8 hours. You are trying to overcome it. Then cognitive, what ifs erode with. So now a fear is setting in and you are feeling that what if my boss fires me? What if I don't deliver this kind of behavior? So now you are getting into the trap of Silesia and Baraita and Calcaria. This kind of trap you are getting in, that if I won't behave like this, what will happen? If I don't deliver this thing on time, what will happen? So now you are getting into that kind of trap and you are trying to over deliver. This is a kind of algorithm addiction where tech platforms profit from keeping us endlessly scrolling and comparing. So that is why platforms like Instagram comes into play in this kind of comparison trap. FOMO. The correlation with depression is significant. It is 0.50, making intervention crucial for mental health. So when we talk about mental health, FOMO is always there. FOMO is always in play. Again, swiftly coming back to the medicines. So let's understand again. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. 28% relief rate. 2025 Homeopathy 360 review shows significant improvement in social fears, 28%. Safe long terms, unlike SSRI, these are serotonin medicines, with 15% relapse risk, homeopathy offers sustained health. And then there is social phantom, emotional void from constant comparison and fear of exclusion. So you have constant comparisons going on and you have fear of exclusion. Again, the first medicine which comes into play is argentum nitricum. Again, the fear is the same, fear of anticipation, fear of not being able to do something or getting fearful. So fear of anticipation, argentum nitricum. For hurried heart rates, over missing calls, impulsive envy with gut knots. So this kind of medicine comes into play. Lycopodium, obviously, whenever we talk about jealousy and envy, lycopodium is also there. So when confidence craters from comparison with bloating stress, so if a gastric complaints comes and with confidence problems, so lycopodium can be. Gelsemium 30C, obviously, whenever we talk about performance anxieties and these kinds of fears, gelsemium is obviously there. So whenever you feel that you are missing kind of something and you are comparing yourself continuously, that let's take the example of an exam, that when a student who went just before you comes out and says that I have given some really good answers, and you get fearful in anticipation that, oh my God, has this been asked? I haven't read that. And now you are kind of feeling anxiety and now you have started feeling some kind of emotions. So that is why Gelsemium 30C like this comes into play. Whenever we talk about, now again, this is research-based medicines, argentum nitricum, lycopodium, gelsin. But when we come on the symptomatic part, and my understanding, when we are talking about symptoms like these, uh, yeah. So when we are talking about symptoms like these and social comparison and this kind of behavior, and you are trying to over deliver, a medicine calcarea cup should always come into mind. I haven't seen them in research, but I think if I am a person and I have seen this kind of symptom in a patient, I'll prescribe calcarea, because calcarea is a person who always requires opinion. So whenever we search into rubric play, let's say radar, and we are searching the word opinion as a keyword, there is always calcarea, be it longing for good opinions, be it sensitive to good opinions, be it fear of fear of opinion. There is always calcarea. Calcarea is always there. So if we are talking about opinions, if we are talking about competition, envy, jealousy, lycopodium is there, but calcarea is also there, because calcarea is that envious, is that jealous. He wants things in its life, and that is why calcarea can also be here. Coming back to the point, cyberchondria. So cyberchondria is when Google becomes your doctor. Cyberchondria is when Google becomes a doctor. These kinds of patients are very common in today's clinics. We always see that patients come to our clinic and they say that I have already researched this and I'm suffering from cancer. I'm suffering from hepatitis. And then we have to make them understand that no, you're not suffering from cancer. You are not suffering from this kind of disease which you are fearful of. So when Google becomes your doctor, cyberchondria comes into play. What is cyberchondria? WebMD whispers balloon to cancer doom. In India, 2025, 25% students and 15 to 20% adults, 15 to 20% adults are suffering from cyberchondria. 10% yearly incidence via practosurges, higher in low literacy belts. So the area where low literacy is common, in that areas, these kinds of things takes place. Let me give you an example. A patient came into my clinic. I gave him silesia, but not only on the basis of this. So a patient came into my clinic and he said that he searched about his disease by ChatGPT. This patient was suffering from IBD, ulcerative colitis, and this patient came into the clinic and said that he has searched all about his disease and he knows what he can eat, he knows what he can't eat. By whom? By ChatGPT. I asked, have you ever got into any kind of investigations? He said, no. I said, how do you know that you are suffering from, sorry, I told you the diagnosis earlier. He said that he's suffering from rectal cancer. Okay. Then later on, when we get the investigation done, IBD came into the play, ulcerative colitis was there. Okay. But the patient said that he's suffering from rectal cancer. When I asked that, do you know, have you went into any kind of investigation? He said, no, I never went into any kind of investigation. I went through ChatGPT. I searched for every kind of thing which I can search. I have told every my symptom to ChatGPT, and it gave me the information that I'm suffering from rectal cancer. Then I explained him that what is IBD. And this kind of, this is important. We have to explain the patient that what he's doing is wrong. You can search and every symptom can lead to some kind of disease. As in, if we are searching for tooth pain, then in HIV/AIDS, many patients complains of tooth pain. So not every patient who is suffering from tooth pain is suffering from HIV/AIDS, obviously, right? So this kind of thing we have to explain to the patient. Coming back to the point, so 10% yearly incidence via practosurges. The trigger cycle is physical sensation noticed, Google search initiated, worst case scenarios discovered, anxiety escalates, and then real medical care avoided. So this is kind of a cycle, the trigger cycle. This is kind of a pattern that you noticed a physical sensation in yourself, that whenever I drink water, I feel a choking kind of sensation in my throat. Now this can be a general, what can I say, laryngitis kind of situation. And now you are imagining something really else, that you are suffering from peptic ulcer or esophageal cancer or something like that. So firstly, a physical sensation you noticed. Then secondly, a Google search you initiated. Third, you saw the worst case scenario. You discovered a worst case scenario in that. Then anxiety came into the play dramatically due to that condition only. And then real medical care, you avoided that. Breaking the pattern. Limit health searches to 10 minutes daily using only verified medical sites. This simple boundary reduces escalation by 30%. So you have to tell your patient to limit your health search to 10 minutes daily using only verified medical sites. So this can reduce the escalation by 30%. Anti-inflammatory foods are important. So if you think that you are suffering from some kind of sensation, take anti-inflammatory foods. So this kind of knowledge can be given to the patient. Since he would be doing something extra, this can be as a placebo effect and this can help the patient. Psychological worries like vultures, reassurance loops, 10 tabs open of always in the Google Chrome, then doctor avoidance till the symptoms scream, insomnias, muscle knots, IBS. Obviously, this kind of anxiety will push you towards IBS because the more the stress, the weaker the gastric health will be, and obviously that will cause your gastric health to more and more deteriorate. So, if this kind of anxiety is in your life, I'll suggest to meditate regularly, but avoid these kinds of anxieties because obviously this will push you more towards IBS. What can be the solution? Obviously, I told that limit your health research to 10 minutes daily maximum, and obviously use the verified sites only. So we can suggest that to the patient. The diet will help. So obviously probiotic can help. Why probiotics? Because gastric health is obviously directly proportional to mental health. So we can say the patient to use probiotics daily. Now coming to the homeopathic part. Cyberchondria, digital health anxiety, the modern hypochondriac, obviously, obsessive health searches leading to increased anxiety and reassurance seeking behavior. Midnight health worry spirals, constant symptom checking online, and fear of serious diseases from minor symptoms. 30% reduction in health obsessions with CCIRH pilot studies have shown. So 30% reductions can be seen by homeopathic medicines. This has been done by CCRH pilot study. Now let's talk about medicine. I am very sure if we are hearing this kind of symptoms, the first medicine which should come into mind is arsenic. So arsenic album 30C is here. For midnight worries with chilly, restless dread of doom, we can give this kind of medicine, arsenic album. So the first medicine which should come into mind is arsenic album always, because this kind of useless anxieties, arsenic album is always there. The second is calcarea carb. Calcarea carb is here for a chronic detailed dwellers with sweaty clamminess. Calcarea carb is here. So again, we again went to those kind of rubric. There is the rubric na longing good opinion for, longing for good opinion, sensitive for good opinion. So this kind of patient, they always want opinion. They are not getting people to give them good opinion, so they are searching for Google website for giving them good opinion. Baryta carbon silicea is also there. So this kind of medicines are there who always seeks opinion. They are differently searching different kind of people or different kind of websites for opinion. Stramonium can be here. It is not mentioned in the medicines, but I'm again saying stramonium can be here because light desire is very prominent in stramonium, and patients of stramonium, they always are on doctor shopping. They're always searching for different kinds of doctors for their opinions. They always want each and every kind of opinion they get. So that is why stramonium can also be here. If they are very fearful of their diseases, then stramonium can be thought of. Aconite is obviously there for sudden surge storms with icy panic. So if a person is very panicked about his disease and suddenly he switches to something, then aconite can always be there. Next, the next disease is techno-stress. Always on, never off. So techno-stress is overburdening of overburdening of IT kind of industry or overburdening of digital health onto someone. That is techno-stress. Techno-stress is Zoom fatigue, AI job, fears crushing spirits. In India, 2025, 80% of employees, 30 to 40% overall, and 12% incidence from IT boom. So in India, 2025, 80% of employees are suffering from techno stress. 30 to 40% overall public is suffering from techno stress, and 12% incidents have been increased after the IT industry have boomed so much. So after the growth of IT industry, 12 to 15% of incidents have been increased. This has been reported by MHA. So what can be the symptoms of burnout, please? The first is emotional. What emotional symptoms can be there? Volcanoes of tears, rage, or productivity craters. So you will feel so much emotional tears, you will feel so much rage inside you, or productivity would be too much harm. Okay. The constant ping of notification, endless emails, and pressure to stay connected creates techno stress, affecting 30 to 40% of adults overall, with a 12% spike from AI workplace integration. This is digital overload. 45% report feeling overwhelmed by information value. So 45% people report that they feel overwhelmed by these kinds of informations. Privacy invasion. 25% feed technology intrudes on personal time. And then constant connectivity, the pressure to be always available. That creates the chronic stress. Now, since the wellness regime is increasing in India, people always talks about wellness health. They are not talking about health only. They are now talking about, now what is wellness? The concept of wellness talks about, and in digital age, the concept of wellness talks about 24/7 connectivity with doctors. So this will also affect to doctors. We have to be constantly connected with our patients. They can call us anytime, they can message us anytime, and we have to respond them if we have promised them that we will be connected. You can ask any kind of help if you want to. So that kind of problems, that kind of connection can also cause some kind of problems. People will feel that, oh my God, this can be so stressful. So that is techno stress, a stress which has been caused due to technology. What physical symptoms can be seen? Firstly would be headaches. Headaches which are usually pulsating. Why? Because you have been taking so much stress. So that is why these kinds of headaches have been set in. Then there can be back knots. What is back knot? When a person is constantly sitting, he'll notice that in the cervical region of his neck, he can feel some kind of knot, some kind of enduration or some kind of edema there at the nape of the neck. That is back knot. Fever prone. These kinds of people are usually prone to fever. They can easily get fever. And then there can be depression also. So this kind of burnout place, these kind of burnout sensations or symptoms are usually seen in techno stress. If we talk about solutions, then there can be some solutions as no email post 8 p.m. So if we are in any kind of industry where, if our patient is in any kind of industry where he has to constantly be on the computer, then he can take a resolution that after 8 p.m. or after 9 p.m. I won't reply to any kind of emails. Okay. Or then there can be sanctuary zones. That 20% drop can be seen if we are in any kind of sanctuary zones, that if I have returned to my home, I won't reply to my emails. So that can be done. In diet, you can take place. You can increase vitamin B in any form of B, that can be biotin or that can be B12. You have to increase vitamin B. That will help. Amla, as in a rich source of vitamin C, that is an antioxidant that can help. So that can also be done. Now coming to the medicinal part. Techno stress and social media anxiety. The first is techno stress solution. Obviously, when we talk about techno stress, then that is a kind of a stress which has been given to nerves. So 30%, 35% focus rebounds come by calcarea force again. So if there is a brain drain, if there is a nervous fag, then obviously caliphos comes into play. Then there is porphyria cruda, racing mind from notifications. If you constantly feel any kind of race in your mind with the constant notifications appearing, then porphyria cruda comes into play. 30% of mental quietness can be given by the help of coffee. And then there is Ignatia Amara. Ignatia is there. 40% stabilization has been given by Ignatia. If we talk about emotional swings from being always on. So if a person is overcommitting and over delivering, and after that they're getting blackouts, and after the or burnouts, then Ignatia Amara can also come. Then we can talk about social media detox. Sorry, the techno stress is over. Firstly, let's understand what the social media is. So the last disease for today is social media anxiety. Social media anxiety is the dopamine dependence. So basically, if we talk about dopamine, we all know that dopamine is the hormone which helps us in being happy, which helps us in being satisfied with our life, with whatever we are doing in our life, like hugging our friends or being with our family or being with our wife or husband. So that kind of feeling comes by dopamine. When we talk about drug addicts, or when we talk about addiction behavior, there is a rubric addictive behaviors in synthesis. So when we talk about addiction behavior, the people who constantly search for dopamine here and there, that kind of people usually get addicted. With 210 million global cases and 60% of teens showing low moderate addiction symptoms, social media anxiety represents our generation's unique challenge. So in today's time, social media anxiety, this is a challenge. This is a kind of epidemic which is coming towards us, which is running towards us. Because in today's time, when we talk about these kinds of anxiety, we should also address some kind of mental diseases as autism, as ADHD. It has been so common because we are uh, we are somewhat prone towards phone, and we have toddlers and childs around us, and we are showing them too. For feeding them food, we show them some kind of reel, we show them some kind of cartoons, and those kind of cartoons or those lightings, they are affecting their nerves and their minds and their growth, and that is affecting their development negatively. And that is why these kinds of behaviors and these kinds of behavioral disorders have been increasing these days. I'm not blaming that only, but that is a contributing factor, a very huge contributing factor. And we have to check that. Uh, the first is dopamine hit. Likes and comments obviously trigger reward pathway. What is the dopamine hit? Let's say you post a reel on Instagram and you got 10K or 10K views and 2000 likes and 300 comments, and you see that, oh my God, I have been viral, because you have never got 10K views. Now on the second post, you are getting only 1000 or 1500. And now you are thinking that, oh my God, I just got 10K and now I'm getting 1500. What should I do? Should I talk to someone, some PR agent, which can give me fake likes and fake comments? So this kind of a feeling of competition, this kind of feeling of self-loathing behavior, and that dopamine hit coming by those kinds of likes and those kinds of view, that is triggering that reward pathway inside you, and that is causing that social media anxiety first. The second is tolerance buildup. You need more engagement for same satisfaction. So firstly, you got 10K. Now, if you're not getting 11K or 12K, you are feeling bad. Then next, if you are not getting 15K or 20K, you are feeling bad. And that is constantly increasing. So what this kind of addiction is bad. You always want something more. You always want something more. And that is why there is this kind of rubrics where there is adrenaline rush, and we give tuberculinum, calcarea, and phosphorus kinds of medicines for that, medorinum for that. That people who are constantly seeking for adrenaline rush, they're constantly seeking for more adrenaline and more kind of, what can we say, uh, constantly seeking for dangerous kinds of activities, that mountain climbing, then jumping from mountains and jumping from aeroplanes. I'm not getting the exact words for that sports, but these kinds of sport are very common in our countries. And so this kind of is what we are trying to do. We are trying to get more and more dopamine by doing that. Then there is withdrawal anxiety. So you have a constant habit of checking your feeds. You have a constant habit of checking that your account has getting these kinds of engagements. You are getting 40K engagement on your account and 100K of engagement on your account. And now you can't check. Why? Because your son is ill, or your wife is ill, or someone is demanding that time out of you, and you are fearing, you are thinking that no, I have to give this time to my social media. So that is also kind of causing some kind of anxiety. The last is compulsive returns. Cycle repeats with increased intensity. So this kind of cycle, this kind of demanding more, this kind of wanting more, that kind of cycle is returning each and every time. You want more, you demand more. So users is spending 2.5 hours daily shows 20% higher depression risk. The cost of constant connection. So 20% of higher depression risk can be seen to the patients who are constantly available on social media platforms. If we talk about overall health, so the integrated healing, this can be there for each five. The first is digital boundaries. We have to set tech-free zones and set tech-free times. Tech-free zones is what? If you enter into your family home, if you enter and the child is living with you, your wife or husband is living with you have to set a tech-free zone that this time is for my wife or for my husband or for my kids, and I won't give this time to technology. There should be some tech-free time that after 10 p.m. I won't touch my phone. Before 10 a.m. I won't touch my phone. I won't see that whatever is going on. If there is an emergency call ringing up, then we can talk, but we'll not touch for Instagram, we'll not touch for Facebook, we'll not WhatsApp, we'll not check the WhatsApp and doing these kinds of stuff. So that is a start. That is a digital boundary that we all can set up. The second is nutritional support. Vitamin B can help. Omega can help. Omega-3, I already told that. And then anti-inflammatory food can always help. So antioxidants and anti-inflammatory foods can always help. When we talk about antioxidant in India, amla is always available. Amla is a very rich antioxidant and can always help. So we can take that. If you talk about anti-inflammatory food, we have in India curcumin in curcuma longa. We have curcuma longa as mother tincture also. In everyone's home, it is available as turmeric or haldi. It is a very good anti-inflammatory. We all can help. We all can use that. Then there is black pepper available. Piperine is there in it, and we have we can use that as an anti-inflammatory. So that can. Obviously, there is professional help. So whenever we talk about anxieties and whenever we talk about mind diseases, mental health diseases, then CBT always comes into play. Talk with your patients, try to understand their anxieties, and then try to address that anxiety each and every time. Again, I can give you an example. A very reputed principal of a very reputed college came to my OPD, and this person was kind of lycopodium behavior, was on some kind of lycopodium behavior, we can say. He was always he was already feeling entitled, he was already feeling dignified, and he came to me, he started talking and started telling about his disease. So now he has researched so much about his disease on Google, he already know each and everything about his disease. Okay, and this time he was not wrong, he was literally right, and he has searched some right things, and he literally know each and everything about his disease. He was so conscious about his health that he was telling me what to do in my life and what not to do. As you have to run, you should eat this kind of stuff, you should sleep at this time, you should talk like this. So he was trying to school me. So just imagine that a patient coming to you and try to school you. Now, what I was trying to see, I was trying to perceive that where that anchor is. What is an anchor is a PDF, a differential field, a potential differential field, that what this patient, what I should gain from this patient. So I started poking in each and every part of his life, because he was so dignified, he won't talk by his own. So I started poking in each and every part of his life. And when I talked about his family, and then I started poking about his son, he started weeping. Now imagine a person who is that dignified and who is talking like some king sitting in front of me, and he started weeping. He talks about that my son died 10 years before. He was suffering from some kind of cancer, and I tried homeopathy and I tried allopathy and I can't help him. I feel that this is all my fault. And now this is your anchor. This is the PDF which we should always see in a case. Now the rubrics comes that he reproaches himself. Aurum is the group of the remedy where this kind of patient lies, that he reproaches himself. He has some grief carrying inside him. He's saying that it is his fault this has happened. So delusion fault is there, some kind of rubric is there, delusion, it is his fault. There's a rubric of that. Then death of loved ones of his own child. Aurum mur netronatum is there because it is a combination of aurum group and natrum mur. So aurum mur netronatum came out as the medicine for this patient. And now whenever we sit and we talk about his family, we talk about his child, he talks about his child. But what is the symptom which signifies that I should give aurum mur netronatum and not aurum mur or not aurum metallic? I should tell that also. There is a specific symptom of natrum mur that when natrum mur talks about his grief and natrum mur talks about his PDF or his anchor, then he only wants to talk with you only. He would not talk about that with anyone else, be it anyone of your clinic. So if there are 10 doctors sitting at a clinic and an natrum mur patient came to you and he talked with you about his grief, he won't talk to other 9 doctors. He's getting in that comfort zone from you only. So he will always meet with you only. He'll always talk with you only. So that is why aurum mur netronatum came into the play and not aurum metallicum or aurum mur. And now he's fine. He talks about his son. He's trying to forget his son and trying to move on in his life. And that's how it helped. But whenever we are talking to the patient, we should always try to perceive that where that anchor is, and we should always poke with our questions. How much questions we can ask, we should always poke our patients. Coming back to the point, we should always have a holistic approach so that we can help by giving some conventional treatment safely. And lastly, coming to the medicinal part, if we talk about social media detox, natrum mur always comes into play because there is a brooding, there is a silent grief, and you want to, you are feeling isolated and you want to fill that isolation. So natrum mur. Then there is pulsatilla, obviously because there is a chasing behavior, there is a neediness, there is a weeping dependency. You weep when you are not getting that likes or when you are not getting that comments. So pulsatilla can be. And then there can be ignatia. Why ignatia? Because there is a hysterical behavior. There is a comparison behavior that you are comparing yourself constantly with someone else. And you are comparing yourself from your last post that you got 10K, now you're not getting 15K. So that is the behavior. And then there is emotional swings. So that is why ignatia can be. Again, what can be our path to digital wellness? Obviously, we have to consult to a doctor first. We have to begin our gentle healing, and then we can experience relief. The evidence-based result says that 28 to 35% of anxiety can be reduced by homeopathy. So homeopathic is a good choice to move on with without having obviously any side effects. So obviously homeopathy can be chosen. Thank you. This was all for the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manish. Like always, relevant topic and good presentation. Thank you so much. Doctors, if you have any question, please raise your hands and please ask question. Dr. Beatrix, today, okay, Dr. Beatrix, you can ask.
Yes, thank you so much. And Dr. Manish, it's a very, very important topic and very special topic. What I feel, you know, I grew up without any social media. It was existent, and times are changed so much. So and I'm also using now WhatsApp and other connections. But what I feel the first point is to explain to the patient that he is living in a virtual world. It's virtual. It's not realistic. And to understand this, that will be a very important point. And next step, it's very important also to educate the children nowadays in a form that they use it not so often. That will be because you know what's happening, what's lacking, that we have time enough to think. Because normally, if we get information from different parts, we need time to combine our information and to think. Also, what's our let's say our goal in life? What are our important points to think about? Emotional things. We need that time, especially before sleeping. So
Mm.
for instance, what I'm doing personally before sleeping, I never look television or looking on some digital media. I'm just sitting there or talking with my husband or drinking something and relax. So I have good
Mm.
dreams. That's important. Next day we go on. But for me, very important, the education of the children.
Yeah, that is. And obviously, what you are talking about is educating your patient, and that is very important. If you are talking about any patient, then the first and foremost point is to educate them. We have to tell them that what you are doing is wrong or what you are doing is right, and how you can change it, how to modify it. And that is the very important part. If that is why patient counseling is very much important. We have to tell them that what you are suffering from, how that originated, and how we can help you in that. So that is a very important part, obviously.
Yes.
Thank you.
And one comment I also did like very much. You explained, of course, there are anxieties in a different form, in different way. As homeopathic doctors, we have to understand what kind of anxiety is it really? What's the deeper
Obviously.
source? And is it
Yes.
connecting perhaps also to experience in the childhood or experience
Mm.
of life, like this man where the son was dying and he had the delusion he could help by internet. So
Yeah, obviously. That Now again you are talking about the anchor. You are talking about that PDF. That where that anchor lies. We always have to dissect each and every case, and we have to see that where that anchor is lying, where that key point is, at what anxiety or at what delusion or at where that patient is sitting, where his soul or mind is sitting. We always have to see that. And that is why it is very important. That is why I'm saying that we have to poke our patient each and every time by each and every aspect we can. That is how we can take out the real important symptom, which is very important for us.
Thank you, Dr. Beatrix. Dr. Ram Parvesha.
Dr. Beatrix, and congratulations, Dr. Manish Singh Azad.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, excellent session, peculiar session, and digital anxiety. Digital anxiety is a very important in this time. Nomophobia, hemo, effect social media, किसी and digital overloaded. So very is the very medicine, Sophia, calcium, tonight, and aurum
Yes, sir.
metallicum. So very thanks, Dr.
Thank you,
Manish
sir.
Azad. और एक कहावत है, विषय मनोरथ दुर्गम नाना, केशव नाम तिनको दाना. एक
Yes, sir.
विषय पर मनन करने पर उसको तो एंजाइटी दर्द होगा ही.
Sorry.
बहुत वेरी थैंक्स डॉक्टर
Thank you, sir.
मनीष सिंह. और एक बात बहुत अच्छा, आपने जो पापा को भी आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं. बहुत बढ़िया.
Thank you,
मुझे
sir.
भी
Thank
बहुत
you.
खुशी हो रही है कि डॉक्टर
Thank you,
मनीष
sir.
सिंह आजाद को कोटा में जाके पढ़ाने के लिए हम अपने बेटे के साथ रखे. तो आज बहुत खुशी है
Thank you, sir.
कि जो है मनीष जो है आज इस अति पर आप वेबिनार में आइए. पीएच वेबिनार में गुड presentation,
Thank you, sir.
excellent presentation. Very thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Manish is always presenting relevant topics, and he studies the subject well and presenting very with the clarity. Thank you so much for your
Thank
presentation
you.
on behalf of IFPH. And now we are moving to Malayalam session. Thank you so much. Come again with the same such topics. Thank you and good night, everyone. Thank you, Beatrix, for joining with us. I think I have seen you after long days. Okay. Now I am inviting Dr. Mariamma John for moderating Malayalam session. Good night, everyone. English session. Bye. See you tomorrow the same time. We are going to celebrate our 5th year on 28th of this month. Only two days remaining. Hope we'll all meet together there. Thank you so much, and I'm inviting Dr. Mariamma John for moderating Malayalam session. You are welcome, please.